And Elizabeth has agreed to say a few words on behalf of the whole group behind me. So, Elizabeth?
Chameleon, a member of a group of primarily tree-dwelling, old-world lizards in the family Chameleonidae, characterized chiefly for their ability to change body color. Chameleons, found generally in large groups around the Mediterranean, are capacitated to adapt to their environment by manipulating themselves and blending well enough to defend themselves against visible predators to ensure their safety. Growing up, I was always a chameleon, learning how to adapt to various social situations and never trying to learn or build any of my values. I abandoned any social situations as fast as possible, so I just didn't have to be surrounded by other people. A chubby, big-haired kid whose personality didn't fit in, I quickly learned people were not fond of who I was. So I changed. I adapted to appeal to the masses. Becoming something other than who I was became a game, then a daily task. Before I knew it, lying came naturally. I felt it almost as if I didn't exist and that I lived someone else's life, anyone else's life. This lifestyle became my cloak of invisibility. It protected me from the time my parents divorced, every time out of the 10 that I moved across countries, states, and provinces, until the time my father passed away from kidney failure and HIV/AIDS. I became the unwounded child, everyone's shoulder to cry on, and the girl who can never be broken. My life had no balance, and I never felt the need to go to anyone for anything or look forward to anything. Whatever happened, happened. Till the first time I had someone take interest in who I was and in what I cared for. I easily recall the first time I was invited to camp. My teacher, Mr. Trick, saw something in me that no one else did and gave me an opportunity that I never would have expected to change my life the way it did. 5 months later, 3 panic attacks, 2 phone calls home, and too many tears shed, I finally gave my first year a chance. Before I knew it, 10 days were gone. Then another 10 days came around, and I had already been hit by another year at camp. Walking into the youth leadership program, my thoughts were to meet these 7 other people, pretend to be just like them, and let the time pass and go home. But I would quickly find out that's not how things worked at camp. There was something about my experience at camp where I became an equal. Our counselors brought themselves down to our level, and people didn't judge who you were. At camp, you could just be you. At camp, I had the chance to fall into new experiences without being afraid because I knew someone would be there to catch me. I can remember the feeling of reaching the end of my first solo portage and finally feeling like for once I had done something great. Knowing I had the ability to try and give my personal best and possibly succeed turned my perspective around. That seemingly simple distance made me feel finally accomplished. To change my life and inspire others around me gave a disturbingly relieving excitement. Drenched in sweat, slathered in mud, for the first time, I felt proud of myself. I can never fully explain what I felt given the challenges and achievements I've experienced throughout my 6 years with the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation. What we've all let ourselves become exposed to year after year has not been taken for granted and never will be. Everything that we've achieved, whether it was portaging that canoe uphill for 500 meters or letting ourselves climb 35 feet in the air while putting our lives in the hands of people we barely knew, has been translated into our everyday lives. The skills of the youth leadership program have given me are something that no one can take away. This place has given me a home and helped me understand that everyone has a story. We have all struggled, but that does not leave us as an excuse or a reason for pity. To my fellow graduates, we have been through experiences and a time that we can now call our own. Maybe you're proud of the fact that you conquered a fear of heights, or the thought of being away from home for 10 days might have made you sick to your stomach, but you did it. You gave yourself the chance to step outside of your comfort zone and trust people you didn't know. We will always have the friendships and memories we have made here. Even though there have been others beside us to help guide the way, we have finished this program and made the choice to follow through. Some will never understand how people literally shed blood, sweat, and tears throughout these years, but even more importantly, how we opened up our doors for hope, trust, and love. The choice we've made to be a part of the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation will forever leave an impact on our lives. One that we can take with us no matter where we go. If you had asked us 6 years ago to go out into nature on a 6-day canoe trip without any technology or family around, many of us probably would have simply laughed at the idea of it. Yet here we are, begging for more time and reaching out for something we were once so afraid to let in. Today, there's a little girl who I want to say goodbye to. That little girl who wouldn't hold her head up and was too afraid to be herself because she was told she wasn't good enough, because that girl has no room in our home. The person I am now wants to take her future into her own hands and attend university abroad as a communications major and make a change in this world. To the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation, I cannot fathom what this place has done for all of us over these past years. Thank you for giving us a home when it felt like we didn't have one at times. To every restaurant owner who has sponsored a child, my fellow graduates and I are forever in debt to you. You are the reason we had a chance to be a part of this place, and on behalf of the future graduates, thank you for continuing to support this organization. Most of all, I want to thank my mother for being the strength in my life when I was too weak, and for always being there and teaching me how to find my independence, but mostly encouraging me to go to camp. My name is Carmen Elizabeth Chizanga, and I stand here as someone who cannot be imitated, and as someone who chose to let go and be herself, even if the world does not like it. Today I ask every one of you, graduate, foundation staff, restaurant owner, whoever you may be, to step out of this building and challenge yourself to be who you are and do what you want to do and show the world what they are missing. We may not all have the same experiences or stories to share from our youth leadership program, but if there's one thing this foundation has taught us, it's that none of us were born to be chameleons.
Beautiful job. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And just echoing all of our comments, both for Elizabeth and all these wonderful young people who are behind me, we're making a real lasting impact for the future in our communities, and something for which we're all tremendously proud. I know you join us in that. And thank you so much for all of your support in 2011, and we're looking forward to another tremendous year in 2012 together with all of you. Thank you very much.